Are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday. So, you asked last week, and I answered. This week, we have a focus for our session, and we are going to talk about how to understand our energy blocks and how to move through them and shift them and move past them. So, quick reminders, some admin. If you're watching live, welcome. Thank you so much for your time and your presence. If you are watching the recording on YouTube, a huge welcome to you as well. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much. What else? Yes, another reminder about the Miserable to Marvelous course. So you can head over to my website, and I am offering a discount for early bird subscribers. You don't have to pay anything. All you need to do is put your name in the form, and when it's live, I shall let you know, and you shall get a discount, which is pretty awesome. So just a reminder about this course. It is 10 modules, and it's pretty much all the processes and the knowledge that I use with my one-on-one clients. So the cool thing is that you have access to this course in perpetuity, forever. So it's going to be a really great tool to help you understand yourself, your relationships, and give you the skills that you need to move forward. Okay, let's get right into it. So we are exactly 1 week away from last week's blood moon and the lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. And there have been some profound shifts and awakenings and realizations and changes. I felt it in a huge level, and I know a lot of people that I've spoken to felt it as well. So if you've experienced any kind of really big changes or decisions, right, I'd love to hear about it. Pop your experience in the comments. And I thought that was quite a good precursor to our topic today. So, considering the fact that I knew what I was going to be speaking about today, I didn't know whether I should pull cards or not. I decided to do it. I'm super glad I did. And before I get into the nuts and bolts of today and to give you guys the tools that you're looking for, I would like to just share with you the wisdom that came through. All right, so the overall theme, I just love these cards so much. Right, fire, fury. Okay, now keep this in mind because this is your emotions. And as we know, energetic blocks is in our emotional body. Okay. Let me pause there and then I'll come back to the rest of the cards. So, I want you to visualize your life as a path, a tunnel. Okay. Nice and smooth, nice and straight. We know where we're going. When we experience blocks, challenges, pain, trauma, indecision, confusion, all of those things that we can categorize as a block, I want you to picture that as a boulder, right, in your path. Now, normally what we do is we're walking along, everything's great, relationships are going well, we're feeling good, we're feeling happy, and then boom, we smack our faces right against that boulder. And then we tend to stop, and we kind of, our default reactions to go into this like victim mentality, like, oh God, you know, why is this happening to me? And we go back and we analyze, and we've spoken about this a lot in our sessions where we think it's kind of like an external energy, you know, and we doubt ourselves. Clearly I haven't worked hard enough. Clearly I'm doing the wrong thing. Clearly the world is against me in your absolute worst state. But what we're going to talk about today is that these boulders, right, these blocks in our path, these blocks within ourselves, are actually your inner guidance system telling you what is your next step. Because if we want to succeed in our relationships, in our physicality, in our projects, our careers, in any area, if we want to succeed, we have to keep moving forward, right? Which means, and I've spoken about this previously, that we have to get bigger. We have to expand our knowledge, our comfort zones, our experiences, our risk taking. Okay, we have to get bigger. And in order to get bigger, we need to grow. Now those blocks, those energetic blocks, are such a beautiful guidance system because they are telling you exactly how to grow and where to grow. Okay, so that is a nice shift in perspective, because let's get back to the cards. What tends to happen is when we hit a block, right, this massive, intense energy, this fear, this doubt, this low self-worth, okay, when we hit those boulders, right, those blocks, we become attached to the emotion instead of using it as a guidance to emotional intelligence. So if we can approach these markers, and that's what they are, those boulders, those energetic blocks are markers for us. They point the direction for where we need to go. Now, if we can approach them as a place of wisdom, that they are offering us guidance, they are offering us direction, then we are using emotional intelligence as opposed to emotional attachment. Now, if we attach to these blocks and we start believing these blocks and we become buried by these blocks, we're going backwards. We're not continuing along our path, and we're not affording ourselves the opportunity to grow beyond that. So let me quickly show you the rest of the cards. So we have the Hermit. Yeah, right. Now this is a beautiful depiction. Sorry, I hate this mirrored thing. Let me put it that side. There we go. So this is a beautiful imagery to show you what the work requires us to do. When we have hit a block in our life, or we are stuck in those repetitive cycles, in our relationships, in our career, in our wealth, whatever it may be, when we're in that cycle, right, it just means that we keep hitting our head against that boulder. The work that needs to happen is that we have to go inwards, all right, because outside circumstances, other people are not going to give us the wisdom that we need. They're not going to show us the path that we need to take. As much as we wish it were that case, I get it. I wish, so often in my life, I've wished that I would be saved, I suppose. Someone would come and just take the pain away, make it easier, tell me what decision to make. And it's a very disempowering way to approach our own development and our own experience of life. Okay. So these three stages that we need to do when we are desiring to keep moving forward, to keep growing as individuals, to grow our love, our capacity, our knowledge, our wisdom, our everything, right? There are three steps that we need to take. The first is, of course, to recognize the boulder in our path, to recognize that we have been paused for a reason. And it's not there to harm us, it's there to guide us. Okay, so we have to recognize what the block is and approach it with wisdom and gratitude. Let me give you some examples. So, ego. Ego is a big block that rears its head many, many times. And ego can say to us, I need to be right. I need to win. I need to prove myself. I need to be better. And when ego is dictating our choices and our ability to move forward, we're not going to, that's where we stop, okay? And we're going to go backwards and come back to the same place and come back to the same place. So we have to recognize what that fear is, because ego always protects fear. So the fear is, who am I if I don't win? Who am I if I'm not right? Who am I if I'm not recognized? Okay, so that's the first fear. Now remember that we are approaching this block, these energetic guidance things, with curiosity, not with attachment. Because if we approach our energetic blocks with attachment, we are growing and strengthening ego. And ego is always going to limit us, always. So the first step is to see it with curiosity and to identify this feeling. Okay, so we've got ego, big one. We've got fear of the unknown. Okay, because often we are aware, if we become aware of the message that is coming through to us, step 2 is that we have to take action on it. Now, that is where the next layer of fear comes in, because by taking action, we are, number one, trusting our instinct with no other, very often, sometimes we have some validating signs outside of ourselves, but very often we are being asked to move forward based on nothing but faith in yourself, absolute faith and trust in the unknown, using only this inner knowing as certainty. Okay. Now, if we don't back up step 1 with step 2, we haven't actually changed anything. Now, let me illustrate this for you. So we're moving along our life, we're in the tunnel, we're on the path, and we hit the boulder, and we're like, ooh, okay, here's this feeling again. I'm familiar with this feeling. It could be ego, it could be fear, rejection, you name it, all the lower vibrational human experiences, right? That's what we come up against. If we are able to recognize it and have the gentleness with ourselves and the honesty with ourselves to really see what it is. Okay, I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of accepting love. I am afraid of making the wrong decision. Okay, so we recognize what it is first. Then we have to back it up with action. Because if we don't take that wisdom and implement it, okay, which is scary, I get it, all we have done, we may move forward a little bit, but we're taking that boulder with us, which means it's going to be in our path again, and it might be in our path really quickly within a week, 6 months, a year, whatever the case is. So to heal these blocks within ourselves, and I really do see it, like if we look, like I'm describing our life as this path, this like contained tunnel, right? And if you think about it, that is what we are, right? We are almost the shape of that straight path. And last week I spoke about the chakras. So if we are going to keep moving forward, and I want you to picture the energy moving forward and moving up within you. If we come up to here and we have a block in our heart space, and that block is, I'm always rejected, I always feel abandoned, I always feel alone, I just don't feel like I'm worth these things that I would like to have. Okay, so we get this block in the heart space. We've got to go there and we've got to recognize it, love it, accept it, and then we have to move past it. And we move past it in the outside world. And we have to do it with brave action. Otherwise, we haven't actually healed that block. All we've done is like, oh, I see you. Okay, cool. I'm just going to sidestep around you. Well, that's a temporary fix at best. Okay. So let me share with you what happened for me last Wednesday. I came up against, and there was no pre-warning. It wasn't like I've been mulling over this for a long time. It was something happened, and I just knew the decision that I had to make. I just knew. That decision required me to let go of ego, to let go of an outcome I had attached to for quite a long time, like I needed this outcome. It required me to very much step into the unknown. Well, what's next? Because now this outcome, this direction that I had thought was good for me, I now know I'm over it. I'm letting it go. It's not me. And then I had to take action. Now, if I didn't take action, all of that work, all of that awareness, all of that healing capacity would have just stayed within me. Right? It would have stayed as this like little, kind of softened the boulder, right? But if I didn't take action in the outside world, I solidified it again. So I took action. And let me tell you, it felt fucking fantastic because I trusted myself. Okay. So step 1, we see the block and we question it, right? With curiosity, we question our own habitual emotions. We don't attach to the emotions. We see them and we use it as wisdom. Ah, I see this message. There's such a clear, this is the thing, guys, like everything within you is so perfectly designed. We have the knowledge, we have the wisdom, we have the capacity to know what our next step should be if we listen. And these energetic blocks that we experience within our lives and within ourselves, within our relationships, how we feel, these energetic blocks are not there because there's something wrong with you, or because you haven't tried hard enough, or because you're too damaged, too wounded, too weak. That's not what their function is. Their function is to tell you the next step, right? There are markers on our road. Super clear signs that say, okay, you're desiring more love. You're desiring more success. You're desiring more health. I hear you. This is what you want. Great. Fix this and you've got it. Okay. So, sorry, I'm looking at comments here. So the work that we need to do does not come from outside. And I'm going to keep coming back to this. The true strength, and second time in a row, we have the strength card, right? And I realized as I got off the call last week, off the live session last week, that I didn't actually talk you through, this card. And I want to actually draw your attention to, so she's half lion and a sheep. Because true strength is not bullying. True strength is gentleness and compassion, okay? And that is a skill that we need to learn to cultivate within ourselves. If we approach our blocks with rejection, with hatred, with anger, we are adding to the block. We are making the boulder bigger. To cultivate compassion within ourselves requires a certain amount of detachment. To see these blocks, these guidance systems, we have to approach it with gratitude through detachment. If we look at these blocks and we immediately go into judgment, right, which means we're not using wisdom, we're not using our intelligence. And in fact, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we spoke about this. It's like learned wisdom. Wherever you are in your life right now, you have accumulated wisdom. And if you're going to apply it not with this bullying, forced energy. Because remember, and we're talking about energy here. Now, energy can either be flowing, it can be mutable, permeable, it can be soft, or it can be really, really hard. Now, that energy within you, okay, is going to be determined about how you treat it. You are going to shape that energy. If you approach your relationships, yourself, the way you speak to yourself, the way you see yourself, if you approach yourself with hardness, you will be better. What the hell is wrong with you? Just try harder, sacrifice more, wake up earlier. You know what I mean? This really hard energy. You are going to make that energy within yourself hard, which makes it obviously more difficult to change. And if we can approach ourselves with, and that's why this consciousness is so vitally important. And let me quickly sidestep a little bit. Consciousness is not a guy sitting on a mountaintop, right? Consciousness is, I am conscious of my thoughts, I am conscious of my emotions, I am conscious of my actions. And because of that, I can direct it. Okay, I want to talk about emotion quickly. As I've just said about the consciousness, we cannot think ourselves successful. We cannot think ourselves powerful. We cannot think ourselves healed. this energy that we are working with today and within our lives always is the fundamental life force of the universe. It really is. Okay, physics. When we connect to people that we love, how do you even begin to describe love? You can't touch love. No one has been able to, in all of our thousands of years of history, we have never been able to describe what love is, because it is an intangible energy, yet we feel it. So this life force within us is 100% emotion-based, and we have an emotional connection to everything and everyone. An emotional connection to our loved ones, to other people, an emotional connection to our work, to our dreams, to our money. We have emotional connections to clothing, to the economy, to fucking Netflix series. Okay, everything that exists in the world is a energetic emotion, which means that your power and your focus needs to be on the emotions, okay? And the tool, the skill, the place to start is always emotion. And I know that that is the most difficult thing to do. And you can go, and I know, affirmations certainly have their place, without a doubt. But emotion is the most powerful force in existence, right? It will trump everything. So you can try and think yourself healed and think yourself happy and think yourself full of love and success and abundance. If that emotional energy within you is not backing up those thoughts, you've lost. So the healing process, we have to feel what is unfelt. Those hard blocks, those hard boulders within you, is what has been unfelt, unacknowledged, and it's sitting there waiting for you to go into it, to soften it, to acknowledge it, to love it with gratitude. Thank you for showing me the next way in which I'm going to grow and expand, and to go in it without attachment and without judgment. Because if we go into it with attachment, we are staying there. And it's so simple. People are like, well, how? And, it's just feeling. I'm going to feel rejection. I'm going to feel fear. Okay, it exists. I see you. I acknowledge you. Cool. And some of those big, really rock hard emotions, boulders, blocks, we're going to have to feel a couple times, because they have been building up sediment for many, many, many years. And that's okay, because I want you to picture this energetic block as getting smaller. And each time you feel it, it softens, it gets smaller, and we have less attachment to it, okay? Until eventually it becomes open and a part of ourselves, okay? Because we have not rejected ourselves. So that is a process that requires consciousness, it requires awareness. And sometimes we get lost. Sometimes we forget to look at it with curiosity. If it's a really big fear, if it's a really big trigger, sometimes it takes us a day to look back and go, whew, I really got caught up in that, right? So it is a skill that requires practice. When we can be consciously aware of what's going on, we can go in, see it, recognize it. Thank you for the marker. Go in, feel it, and move through. The moving through, and this is the real kicker, requires material action, all right? Because we live in a world of duality. We are both matter, right? Materialized matter, which is the hard stuff, right? Us, the skin, right? And then, of course, we are the energy itself. Those two have to work in concert. So if you have been given the gift of awareness, the gift of knowing where you need to work, back it up with action. If you know that you need to make a decision, you need to make a move, you need to make a change, if you know it in your gut, in your instinctual knowing, do it. Do it fearlessly, do it courageously, but do it. And that is how you solidify the change, the healing, the awakening, the expanding. We have to root it in reality. Okay. And when I say it's a skill, it is, because that I keep saying a 3-step process. I've actually only described 2, but that process of recognizing the block, feeling gratitude towards it, seeing it not as a burden that you have to carry or that you've done something wrong, but rather as your new pointer in the direction that you need to go. Then we feel what needs to be felt, right? With curiosity, with intelligence, with wisdom, as opposed to attachment, and then back it up with action. That is a process that can become habitual. And in that way, we are able to manifest our desires so much faster, because the time that it takes to manifest what we want is literally the time between there's my block and I'm now going to take action past it. Sometimes we see that block and we just can't do anything about it. We're aware of it, right? Like, I know I sabotage my relationships. I know that I give up at 90% and I never see a project through. Like, I know this, right? So you're aware of it. You're in the block, but you haven't changed your action. You haven't backed it up, solidified it, and grounded it in reality. That means you are staying in between these points. Dun, 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 dun. When you can take action, I see it, I'm ready, I'm moving forward. Boom. Then we manifest, and then we get the stuff we want. So if you want to shorten your manifestation time, if you want to shorten your success time, back it up with action. And I know that it's super scary, but learning to trust our instincts and learning to trust our knowing makes you powerful. Okay. Right, guys. I managed to make it 2 minutes before. I did not talk too much today. So I really hope that this has given you some insights, and I'd like you to put it into practice today, right? Action. Don't get stuck in the thought. Don't get stuck in that cycle. I see it, and back down. I see it, and back down. Okay. See it, feel it, and back it up with action. So choose something that you are aware of that is happening in your life right now. And right now, if you have time after this call, do it. Do this exercise. And once you have made, you will know the action you need to take. Maybe you need to have a conversation with somebody. Maybe you need to actually, in that relationship you've been thinking about for a while, maybe you need to, there's something about a job, go out, whatever it may be, you know what that action is. Do it. And you will be utterly amazed by the results. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for your time, your presence. I hope you have an amazing rest of your Wednesday and the rest of the week. I just got distracted by a million birds that came to sit here. And I will see you back next Wednesday or on the recording on YouTube. Thank you, everybody, and stay well. Bye.